For the hour, the ladies are back again on Power Hour. I want to welcome my co-hosts, Miss Lisa Griggs and Miss Renee Rand. And of course, we have Jean, our lovely Jean, who takes care of all of our IT issues and whatnot. Welcome to Darlene and Alex. Thank you for joining us along with everybody else. We are live on Power Hour. You want to join the conversation, call in. Our 800 numbers, 877-776-3985. So we're putting the me back in menopause. And I know, you know what, we're going to talk a little bit about menopause. And we have a special guest with us here this evening. Um, I have come to know this woman, and we've all come to know this woman, and especially in the past year. You know what? She is amazing. She really is. And I've had some one-on-one time talking to her on the phone. And you know what? She is a mother, a single mom of a 13-year-old girl. That is just special effect. Hold
Sorry.
on a minute. Um, she also was a fitness competitor in her 30s, although she looks like she's about 20. Um, she has been down the menopause path and she has seen what all these changes have done to, her body and well-being. She is a personal trainer. She's also a mindset coach, all rolled into one. She's a phenomenal woman, and I would love to introduce Miss Alma Gormley. Welcome, Alma.
Hi. Hi. Thank you so much. You're so sweet, Veronica, all of you guys. Thank you
Oh,
for having me here. This is really
thank you.
special, very, very special. And you'll have to apologize. I've just been running around all morning, but I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, the menopause, the power per hour.
You know what?
So
That's the
special.
great thing about because you know what? We're all, we're in the raw. This is amazing. This is what everyday women do. We talk about putting the me back in menopause. It's just like everyday living, you know.
Mhm.
We were talking about our lipsticks. I have pink. Renee has a white red. Lisa has a dark red. But
I
you know
gotta
what?
put some on.
Well, sometimes we try to put all red on all the time. So you know what? We're going to jump into some questions with you, Alma, and we're so excited to have you here today. And I know you're a personal trainer and you are a mindset coach as well. And I know you have a phenomenal story. I just love hearing about your story because you went from this to that and you look absolutely phenomenal. So, you know what? What is your personal experience with fitness? Tell all these ladies who are
Yeah.
going through menopause what your personal experience is at first.
Yeah. Well, this might be one that not a lot of people know yet. So I I did not grow up, your typical like athlete or anything like that. I grew up with, bologna sandwiches. I'm in Texas, so cheese is big. Um, just you know, nutrition was just not, it was just whatever filled you up, right? So when I got into fitness, I was in a place where I personally was just not happy with, my energy, my just I noticed, I was young. I was probably my 20s. I was going out one too many times. I was drinking and having fun one too many times, throwing caution to the wind one too many times. So I was in California on my own, living what most people would think is a good, fun life, but it was actually very destructive. And so without getting into it too much, I did find fitness as my saving grace. I decided, what if I went the other way? What if I gave myself an opportunity to live, you know, healthy, strong, and do things, take those bold steps to do things that I've always wanted to try. So I've always admired personal trainers. I had a really good friend growing up. She was a personal trainer when she was straight out of high school. And I remembered all the things that she used to tell me. So Yeah, I went into personal training after one night of just kind of a dark, almost like when you hit the bottom of the barrel. And that's when fortunately, that's when a lot of people decide to make those changes, and or they don't, or they just never come out of it. And I was one of the lucky ones where I did decide to come out of it, rise up, and that was kind of the start of a very amazing story for me, a very strong and bold, courageous story. I just made up my mind. I was not going to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be that person. I was ready to move on. So I had to let go of a lot of things, a lot of people. Um, I got my personal training certification. I went to work at a um, amazing, beautiful part of California, which was the Central Coast. So I was in San Luis Obispo, and about 10 minutes down the road was a cute little uh, spa resort. It was Avila Bay Athletic Club and Spa. It's such
Mhm.
a special place in my heart. It's beautiful. Palm trees, two swimming pools, big tennis courts. The most fascinating thing about it was there's a lot of retirees there. So a lot of, you know, professionals that were in the medical world, or, people that own big businesses, people that made a lot of money, but they chose this is their retirement. And I got to be their personal trainer. I got to be, and so I listened to a lot of stories. I got certified. I went to work there, and I never left for about 10 years. I was there, and it changed my life. It really did. Training just changed my life in ways that I never would have expected. Not only just every person I helped, I made a customized plan for them,
Mhm.
which led me to create uh, organization, or a group fitness program called Cancer WellFit, and it's a nonprofit. And um, I would run, what do you not? I would run programs and fundraisers to help raise money for people that were going through radiation treatment and cancer chemotherapy, and to help them with strength training while they're going through that program, and to help them with, a mindset, because it's a very, very depressing, sad, um, scary time. And I just felt very honored and very lucky to be, called to do that, and to just kind of, the only reason I stumbled upon it was because I had somebody come up to me and was asking if I could be her personal trainer, and that she just had a mastectomy. And I started digging really deep. Oh, how do I train somebody that's going through a mastectomy or has had a mastectomy? And I found we had this buried program. And I'm like, why aren't we doing this here? And one thing led to another. And I just saw, like, we need to bring this here. And so I took it under my wing, and I brought it to that club. So a lot of things I did personal. I did boot camp training on the beach. I did, again, met a lot of wonderful people. Some of my best friends, I could say, are still there. I had some pass away, but that's, life. And but a lot of great memories from where I started. So.
Did your personal struggles, I know you have an amazing story, did
Mm.
that lead you into personal training? So I'm trying to get, how
Oh,
you went from this to that. And you could
yeah,
tell.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my personal struggle, got me into, yeah, with when I was in my 20s. Yes, that definitely got me into um, wanting to do personal training. But I became a fitness competitor shortly after, because I thought if I could do this, then I could help other people do this.
Mm.
I feel like I was going through perimenopause at the time. I was in my early 30s, and at the time, I wish I knew, then what I know now. That's always a double-edged sword. And so I the personal struggle, of just, being alone out in California. I know years later, after I got married and I moved back to Texas, I had my other personal struggle where, that might be what you're thinking about, is I had ended up having a open heart surgery in 2023. So I feel like everything that led me up to my open heart surgery, um, made me prepared. I was, um, But again, it gave me a huge, knockdown. This was a knockdown physically. I physically, could not. I just had a son, found out I had a thoracic aneurysm, 4.6 centimeters. If it got to 5 centimeters, I was going to have open surgery. Got checked every year to find out, 8 years. Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? I was scared to work out, scared to lift my son up, or play with my daughter who was a little bit older. And so with that, and then going through menopause, not knowing I was going through menopause, I put on weight, never took off baby weight. I was too scared to work out. High intensity, which is actually a really good form of creating natural HGH to help you lose weight at my age. And so I just was at a really depressed time. It wasn't until you know, post surgery and um, going through all that recovery, I finally felt like chapter's over. I could be myself again. So,
You look and sound amazing. Ladies, Renee or Lisa, do you have any questions for Alma? Go, Renee. You're me.
Renee, you're muted.
Okay, yeah, Alma, I was going to ask you when you decided to do the personal training and the bodybuilding, how did you start on the bodybuilding journey during that time? Because I know my daughter's very interested in bodybuilding and she's 40 now and she wants to do more bodybuilding and personal training. How did you decide to start with the bodybuilding and the
yeah,
compete?
yeah. So it is kind of a full-time job when you go down that road because you have it's just so specific. Your body becomes kind of like a science project, and to look a certain way. And so I started off, um, slowly. It took me about a year, until I got my physique the way I wanted to. I actually did not have a trainer until the end, because I needed more help with um, my eating. Eating is a huge part of that. I wasn't eating enough,
Mm.
and to complement or to work with the all the exercise, I was exercising like 3 hours a day, sometimes 4 hours a day, taking breaks and not feeling myself well enough. But once I got the hang of it, um, it was almost like second nature. But it is a huge mental, mental strength you have daily. You have to be prepared for the highs and the lows because it is a physical challenge as well. And then just setbacks, you may get injured if you're not doing it right. You have to be prepared for that. So once I got into it, once I did it, it's kind of addictive. And, I just, that's what really motivated me for personal training too, because I saw how important it is to have muscle on your body. I actually used to be what's called skinny fat. And, you know, anytime I have a client, sometimes I still do, I don't, I'll never call anyone skinny fat, but we all know what the term means. And so I just explained, why they need muscle, what, that helps. Because, also when you're in menopause, estrogen, you're losing it.
Right.
And it's just kind of, once you explain that to a woman, you're losing your estrogen. That is what helps you have strong muscles. And you need strong muscles to help you from, breaking anything or, balance and, longevity, energy. It's a natural HGH. It gives you better sleep. Every time I work out with heavy weights, I get the best sleep. It just invokes all that natural, those natural chemicals in your body. And it just makes you, that not to mention, endorphins. So it's, the feel good energy.
Thank you for sharing, Alma. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So
Lisa, do
I
you have
wanted to
anything?
ask, I wanted to ask Alma, what is the biggest transformation that you have seen in another client? Who was this person that you were able to help? Because, you know, the way you talk about your open heart surgery, it's interesting to me. You're very matter of fact about it. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that. I'm sure you did. The way she talks about it is like, oh yeah, you know, I just went in for open heart surgery and just came out, you know. And there is a mortality rate to that, you know. I think it's like 1 to 5% that go in. 500,000 people go in a year for open heart surgery. But the way that you talk, and that's in the US alone, the way that you talk about it is like, I just went in for open heart surgery, kind of like, oh yeah, I just went in to go get, you know, my eyebrows waxed, or I don't know. You're just very, it's the only thing I can think of. You're so matter of fact, you know, it was like a walk in the park. And, you know, so I started thinking, gosh, you know, you have always inspired me. I mean, the first time I met you, I think you were like, oh, can I sit down next to you? And I'm like, oh my gosh, of course. Like, can I sit down next to you? You know, and you've just been such an inspiration to me, because your ability to adapt and overcome, you know, through all of life's, you know, challenges that have been thrown at you, you know, just being a single mom, you know, it's a big enough challenge for itself. But you're so matter of fact the way you talk about it. So I was thinking, well, what's the biggest transformation that you have actually seen in someone?
Wow. Well, I can think of a couple, but you know, one person that sticks out to me, you know, even to this day, is probably one of my early clients, you know, when I was still learning and they trusted me with my, you know, my rookie, you know, understanding of strength training and workout programs. But you know, she not only so she came to me. She was a housewife, two boys, married 20 years, I believe. Wanted to lose 50 pounds for her insurance to go down. Okay, so it was a very matter of fact kind of, yeah, very logical, you know, kind of, okay. So we started. I remember, she was always very shy, didn't know how to lift, didn't know anything, a barbell from a dumbbell to any machines, anything. So I took it very slow. I, you know, wrote out the program, but her transformation, you know, it was daily, you know, we would do daily assessments, not just physical assessments, but like checking in with her mentally. Like, to me, she just went from this kind of shy, you know, very like kind of didn't stand out, or kind of like stayed behind the scenes kind of, to a person to where she lost weight and then some, right? Um, she was taking classes, she was making friends, she had a swimsuit on at the pool. She was one day after a class, you know, excuse me, I sat down with her and she was with one of her friends, and she was explaining to her friend the importance of protein, you know, she needs to eat more, or her friend should be eating more protein, and then saying, oh, this is the powders, you know, this is a protein powder, or this is, you know, the type of protein, you know, fish or nuts or whatever. You know, it just made me like feel just so amazing. It was so heartfelt because she just went again from night to day of, you know, very courageous. You know, she ended up, and I don't, in no way, you know, am I advocate for like, you know, divorce, but she did end up getting out of a really, really sad marriage. So she got her power. She was able to take those steps. She was able to actually go back and do what she wanted to do and live her life. She was traveling. She had her sons. You know, she just got, you know, her power back, and that's what I was really happy for her for that. You know, she saw the value in herself,
Yes.
and that's what that's all I want. That's all I want. Anytime I work, I have, you know, current clients now, you know, and I've trained nurses as well. And I just want them to see their value. You know, they come to me and they're sometimes broken. They cry at our initial consultation, and I just pass them a tissue and say, it'll be okay. I got your back. I got, just trust me, and I'll walk you through this.
Awesome.
Small steps, small steps. And compassion. I have nothing but the utmost compassion. I see everyone as a sister, or a brother. I don't train men very often, but when I do, when I used to, I just see them as like a big brother or some, cousin or something, the thing is, it's everybody, somebody, someone, right?
Yeah.
So, you're their sister, you're their mom, you're their brother, cousin, whatever. So somebody out there cares for you. And how would I want somebody to treat my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, and I just kind of live by that. Yes, yes.
How did working out and getting your fitness together during your menopause journey, how did that change your symptoms of your journey through menopause? Because there's things that
Oh,
go along with your health. As your health changes and you're doing things to create solutions for those symptoms,
mhm.
how did that change for you?
So for me, I remember having minimal symptoms. Okay, the really big noticeable thing for me that told me, oh, you're going through menopause was my irregular cycles.
Mm.
I was having irregular cycles, and that's a big, uh, flag. Like, yeah, your body's changing. I did not know really at the time about the estrogen, go losing, progesterone losing, and all that. I, but through the exercise, and I do high intensity training, I would do weightlifting. And then now I incorporated for the past few years, I would say about 4 or 5 years, I've incorporated meditation, and some yoga, so which makes a huge difference as well. But it has helped me with minimizing my symptoms tremendously, minimizing. So that, like I said, better sleep, better or less, hot flashes. I don't have any hot flashes now. Um, and mood swings. I mean, I actually, if I work out too much and I overtrain, that if you're tired, you're gonna just be grouchy. So I try not to be tired.
I know we have a hand up, Jean.
Yeah. Hey, Jean,
Question?
what's up?
Hello. You're a personal trainer and also a mindset coach. And you kind of hinted a little bit about that in this talk, but can you hone in a little bit more of the importance of the mindset when people are training with you and the emotional side, the emotional support that you're giving them in that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So when I say I'm a mindset coach, I don't really advertise like hire me to as a mindset coach. It kind of is a package deal, right? Um, you can't help but um, you can't help but have that part of you in your training if you're a compassionate trainer. And so I um, typically, we'll check in very first thing anytime we start our day. I'll just check in and I say, how are you feeling? We won't take one step into the gym. When I say how are you feeling, yeah, I'm asking, are you sore from the other day? But I also want to know, how are you feeling up here, right? How are you feeling? Like, maybe no one has asked them. They just needed to know, right? So we'll talk about it. We'll go work out. As we're going through our workout, um, I just kind of ask questions, try to get it out, how are you feeling? Unravel what's going on with them. If it's, an argument they had right before they came in, or some news right before they came in, or even something amazing right before they come in, don't just, most people say, leave your troubles at the door and then, go in and do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, that's okay. But when you're with me and I'm your personal trainer, it's like, bring them with you. I mean, let's hash it. Let's let it go. Like, this is a place, it's safe. You could be open. Just let it out. The workout is very important. We'll get it in. We'll get it in. But your mentality, your focus, your drive is what, is going to keep you here, is going to keep you coming back. So I do have a short little story. So I have this one sweet client who is 74. We trained for about a year, and then she, took some time off last summer. She called me January. I guess my number changed since our last training. I don't know, but she frantically got a hold of me, and she's like, "Oh my God, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I need to talk to you since January. I just need to come back. I don't know what I'm doing." I'm like, calm down, it's okay. So we started training again. She was just in tears telling me how she went to her grandchild's birthday party. She had a fall and she couldn't get up. That
Oh,
devastated her. And I just said, you know what? I said, don't worry about it. That's your goal. I said, every time we train, I'm going to give you homework, but you are going to be able to get off the ground. She has no limitations. She has no reason. Where she doesn't even have arthritis, where she cannot get off the ground. So I know it really is a mental thing for her. I mean, and she doesn't like doctors either. So I'm her health advocate. So yeah, I'm very honored to be that. And I could tell, she feels very safe. She'll tell me, she's like, she feels really safe with me. So I was just reading your text, your message.
We actually had a caller call in. A gentleman called in, and he was asking how he can begin to get his wife involved in contacting a mindset coach. You want to speak a little bit into that? I know you're strapped for time.
Oh yeah, my son has basketball. No, it's okay. I think I we're good. We're good. Yeah. So there's so many people out there. I would recommend, if you were to get her a mindset coach, I would recommend that you get someone that is also a fitness coach, in my personal opinion, because fitness and mindset, just think about all those athletes out there. I always listen to Jay Shetty, and he had this one interview a long time ago with a basketball player who has now passed away. I can't remember his Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was an amazing basketball player, amazing, and he had a impeccable work ethic. Impeccable. He would get up before the guys. You know, he was always. They just mistook him. His abilities. They just mistook what he was capable of, and he ran circles around. Shaq. I only know this from listening to this podcast. I have no way know anything about basketball, but my point is, yeah, I would get somebody that's in the athletic world that's also a mindset coach, because we think different. We think in, kind of, you're not going to get to where you want to go unless you have a really strong integrity and mindset and the power to do bold things, and be compassionate towards others. And that's what's going to push you forward in life, is just really, yeah, just really, digging deep. And I always say, decide who you want to be, and who you want to be, and what do you want to sacrifice to get there.
You know, and I know we'll wrap up for you. So I know just my last question would be, I know women in menopause is a big to do. What would you say to the women listening today in moving forward with their goals and challenging menopause in all different stages? Stages.
Yeah. So as in an athletic or in a fitness perspective, understand. And I actually thought about you, Renee, because I remember you saying something that you like swimming, or you do
yes,
swimming. Yeah.
yes.
So whatever you're doing, you know, move, move. Whether you're sitting on your couch, just lifting your arms up above your head, right? Lifting your legs up above your, your knees up and down. Just move. But what you have to do when you're moving is try to go for at least 10, 15 seconds intervals as hard as you can. So if you're in that pool, try to just move those legs as hard as you can. It is not impossible, any of us, to become breathless. We are all at a different state. We all are at different levels to get to a breathless state. But in that breathless state, that's where your body is starting to understand, oh, we don't have the hormone to recover this way. So we have to change our chemistry to
Okay.
help her recover this way. So even if you're in the pool, even if you're on a treadmill, even if you're, on a recumbent bike, if you're just walking with your girlfriends outside, go up a hill, just get to yourself 1 degree, make it 1 degree harder than you normally would, and that's going to help you change your body tremendously. You just do that, at least 4 or 5 times a week, 10, 15 minutes, just interval up and down, up and down, up and down. That's a lot, for the whole rest of your day, 23 hours and
Well,
45 minutes.
this has been my swimming exercise, getting started back in the pool for the summer now that the water's warm enough. And I'm up
Yeah.
to 40 laps now twice a day. So I'm really excited
Good.
about that. And you're right, to the point that I get very breathless, that I can't do my 50 laps yet. So I'm working.
And just know that is not bad for you to get
Yeah.
breathless. That is not bad. Just take your time, catch your breath, and then go do it again.
Absolutely.
That we got to push our bodies to make them work for us. We don't succumb, to what they're, that's how we change chronic illness. You don't just succumb.
You're so awesome, Alma. We sure appreciate your time
Thank
and all
you
of
so
your
much.
talents, sharing them with us today.
Definitely. Lisa,
thank
do you
you.
want to close us out and tell who our next guest is next week? Thank you
Yes,
so
I'm
much,
so
Alma.
excited.
You're
Alma,
amazing.
thank you so much for being with us today. We love you. Also want to thank Mr. Jeffrey Gall for being on here. I see John Ortiz joined us, and Linda Bigelow, and Lynn, thank you for joining, and Darlene and Jean and everyone else, the hosts. Next week, we are going to have Yolanda Halston coming on. We've been expanding the Power Hour into all kinds of amazing women. Next week, we have Yolanda Halston. She's an amazing entrepreneur. She's an inventor. She came out with a brand new product. We're going to be showing you what that is. And so super excited about that. And then hopefully, maybe Mr. Jeffrey Gall, maybe we can get you on here, in the next couple of weeks. We would love to hear from you. You have some great information too. And I know you jumped on here to hear Alma today, and to hear what she has to say, which is so awesome. But Alma, thank you so very much again. You've been such a pleasure to have. We love you so much. We are so grateful that you are here with us and that you survived this, as you say, this open heart surgery, and you say it so matter of fact, but I'm just totally blown away, by the fact that you're just so nonchalant about it. Like it was just such a walk in the park for you. But we love you. We thank God for you. And we hope that everyone joins us next week. Don't forget, give us a call. We want to get your questions answered. We are expanding the Power Hour. We've got some really exciting things going on all throughout the week. You can always get Veronica and Jean. You can go to our Power Through Menopause group. We're almost to 600 women. Come on, we want to give that libido package away.
Yes.
So make sure you invite, right, Veronica?
Scan that QR code. We're almost to 600 women on our Facebook page. Again, call in, talk to either one of us at our toll-free number at 877-776-3985. Same time next week, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. I hope everybody has an amazing day, and we will talk to you everyone soon. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Love you. Bye.